Welcome to Lake TV's Community Spotlight Show, brought to you by the great folks at Central Ozarks Medical Center, where your health is their mission. We're having a lot of fun talking local history with the ladies from the Camden County Museum. So it is Daphne Jeffries, who is the president of the museum, and Noreen Albers, who leads the board of directors. And you guys are just a treasure trove of wonderful local information. So thank you so much for coming by and doing this. In this show, we kind of wanted to talk about Governor McClurg, right? So in being a guy that moved here just a few years ago, I don't know anything about this guy. Who's this Governor McClurg? Why is he such a big name in our area here?
You want to start?
He was one of the most important tradesmen that this area had.
Really?
And as he developed his business, which was right on the Osage River, and shipping goods, whether it be salt or a variety, from that the Osage River was a really big deal in trading at that time.
Well, and this is during the Civil War, so it's the 1860s or 50s.
He started prior to the Civil War.
Okay.
This is just, a few years prior.
But it's way before the dam. So there was no lake here.
No,
correct.
Okay, so
This is pre-1930.
so the stuff he's doing is on the rivers, the Osage, the Nianguas, stuff like that, and he did it in this area. Okay, and then at some point he became the governor, right? I think in 1869 he was elected to be governor. How did he get to that high plateau of being the number one dude in Missouri?
It's a long story.
Oh, it always is, right?
Yeah, it starts back in St. Louis and travels around the state a bit.
Yeah.
And then his wife's brother had started this store in Old Lynn Creek.
Okay.
And asked him to come and help him. And he came and got started with him. And then the brother-in-law, in a trip back to St. Louis, unfortunately died in a riverboat accident.
Oh, wow.
So then he became the proprietor of this store. And at one point in their time, prior to the Civil War, and then again, not after the Civil War, prior to the Civil War, they shipped cured meat down the river to New Orleans, where it was purchased and taken to Europe.
Interesting. Okay.
So trade was going on from Old Lynn Creek clear to Europe.
And this was and Governor McClurg had a residence, a house, in the Old Lynn Creek area. And I don't believe that house went under the water when the dam was built.
No, it would have been up on the hill, but it's long since
been torn down. And I believe that was on the bluff that's below Lover's Leap. And that's where, right there, Old Lynn Creek came out of that cove and merged into the Osage River. And there was a bridge, which I think was Highway 5, that went over the Osage. And then there was a ferry on the other side that went over the Niangua, I think. And that was right down, the bluff looked over that part. So you can know exactly where that house was.
And you can figure the other end of that bridge of Highway 5 is the end of F Road.
Right.
F Road that comes out of Sunrise Beach. If you go clear to the end, you stop
and
before you get there.
And it still goes down.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
And you got to stop before you get there or you'll be in the river.
Yeah, absolutely. And something else I was looking at, because I love history, Old Highway 5 used to wind up beside the Osage River, but then it went up where like Captain Ron's Cove is now. I think it cut up through that cove and kind of ran into F Road again there. So it's fascinating, this history that we talk about. So Governor McClurg, he started out his business in Old Lynn Creek and kind of always had a presence there, it sounds like.
Well, he was a prominent businessman there in this town.
Yeah.
Because of his position. I mean, there were other prominent businessmen because there was a lumber yard, there was all other kinds of businesses there, but I think he was kind of the patriarch of
One of the leaders, for
businessmen.
sure.
Old Lynn Creek was the biggest and most prosperous town in the area.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay. So, what kind of a guy was McClurg? Was he a firebrand guy? Did he fly off, or was he pretty
No.
cool and meticulous?
He was fairly cool. He in reading the article and in reading about some of the things that he did during the Civil War
Yeah.
in different areas, I think he was a thinker.
Yeah.
I think he reasoned things out, and if he needed to argue with somebody, he argued from the position of logic, not strength.
Not just flying off the
Yeah.
handle. Okay. And he was involved in the Civil War. So when we come back, we'll talk about Governor McClurg's, what he did during the Civil War and how that led to him becoming governor and all that stuff. So we're talking with some wonderful ladies from the Camden County Museum. It is Daphne Jeffries, president of the museum. Noreen Albers leads the board of directors. So we'll have more on Governor McClurg right after this. At COMC, your health is our mission. Central Ozarks Medical Center offers 3 OBGYNs at the Osage Beach Clinic and 2 pediatricians with same-day appointments available. At COMC, our doors are open to everyone with 5 primary care locations conveniently located across the Ozarks. COMC for the best medical, dental, and behavioral health care. Get more info on how COMC can help you at centralozarks.org. COMC, where your health is our mission. If it's happening at the lake, it's happening on Lake TV. From the polar plunge to festivals, parades, aquapalooza, and boat shows, Lake TV has it all. Even the granddaddy of them all, the shootouts. If you're looking for places to party, things to do, or even a new home to move into, you've gotta love Lake TV. Winter, spring, summer, or fall, Lake TV's got it all. We think it's hot stuff when things cool down. We spring into action when things start warming up. Of course, summer is one big, huge shootout on Lake TV. And we fall in love all over again when autumn rolls around. Winter, spring, summer, or fall, Lake TV's got it all. Welcome back to Lake TV's Community Spotlight Show, brought to you by the great folks at COMC, Central Ozarks Medical Center. We're talking local history, love history with the ladies from the Camden County Museum. It is Daphne Jeffries, president of the museum, Noreen Albers, leading the board of directors. We're talking about Governor McClurg, a big name in the area, big historical name. Governor for just 2 years, 1869 to 1871. But he started his business, his professional career in Old Lynn Creek and was kind of the big guy in town. Civil War comes in the 1860s, early 1860s. We're here in Missouri. Did Missouri take part in the Civil War? Was there a lot of action around here?
Overall in Missouri, there were more battles fought in Missouri. It was number 2. The top state was Tennessee.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow, I did not know that.
Right. No, Missouri's a border state.
Yeah.
And they were admitted as a slave state. During the Civil War, this in Camden County,
Yeah.
during the Civil War, there were about 100 men who enlisted in the Confederacy and went on to fight there. But this area was not for slavery, although there were a lot of slaves in this area.
And hence the number of battles, because you had both sides kind of going at each other here.
And,
Yeah.
yeah, they were skirmishes. And when we get to the part of talking about Monday's Hollow, it was a skirmish. It wasn't a huge battle.
Right.
But it was the only major skirmish in Camden County.
Okay, so let's talk about that. It's the Battle of Monday's Hollow, and Governor McClurg was involved in this. This was before he was governor. Where did this take place, and how was Governor McClurg involved in the Battle of Monday's Hollow?
Well, to back up just before the battle time, in 1861, McClurg organize what's known as the home guards.
Okay.
This area, we didn't have regiments of soldiers. We had people that were neighbors, they're farmers, who got together in the home guard,
Right.
in this instant, to protect their homeland,
Right.
to protect their area. And so this is what McClurg had organized
Right.
in this area.
Because there were a lot of raiders, you know,
Yes.
especially Confederate raiders, I think, that would
Yes.
go in, burn towns, burn farms and stuff like that. So having a home guard was pretty important. And Governor McClurg did that for Camden County area.
Yes, he did.
And then so this Battle of Monday's Hollow was in Camden County. Where at?
You know, where 7 runs down between Montreal and Richland?
Yeah, Highway
And-
7, yeah.
Okay, and you know there's the fish hatchery there.
Right.
And you go just a little beyond that toward Richland, there's a church called Beulah Church, sits up on the right. The records we have and the reports that we have, there was a supply train that had stopped there
Okay.
on that hill, and as they were beginning to leave there to go on toward Springfield, toward Wilson's Creek, they were attacked by some Confederate soldiers who were wanting the supplies, of course.
Absolutely.
You know, and they thought that was going to be easy pickings. And it turned out to be kind of a rolling battle that went from the area of Beulah Church over to where the fish hatchery is. So it was all through that area, kind of up and down the hills and through the hollows. And
Right.
so when we started looking at the battle reports, you kept getting what seemed like conflicting stories, but it was because this officer was reporting what happened in this little area,
Right.
and this officer was reporting what happened in this little area, and they might not have totally meshed. But I'm not used to reading military reports, so John had to kind of look at it and explain it to me as to what we were really seeing in those battle reports. But it was very interesting to see how they fought each other.
Yeah,
And
absolutely.
then
Turned out to be a big win for the Union.
Yes, it was.
Right, and they did defeat those Confederates. And Governor McClurg, did he play a role in that?
well, as far as we can tell, the report of the battle got to him, and he might have, we think he sent some reinforcements or some assistance
Right.
down toward them. But of course, when you consider the distance between Old Lynn Creek and down there by the fish hatchery, you know, you're talking maybe a day before the report got
Right, yeah.
got back and
They didn't
forth.
have any telephones back
No,
then,
they
right?
didn't.
Yeah,
They
it
didn't
wasn't
have.
like
They didn't have a
today.
cell phone where they could call for help.
Right, yeah, way different. And he was buried in Lebanon, right, Governor
Yes.
McClurg, which is, I kind of found strange because he was big business here in the Lake area. He was born in St. Louis, governor in Columbia, I'm guessing. And
No,
so
Jeff City.
why buried in Lebanon?
Well, to kind of back up some, after the war, after his home was
His business.
his business, not his home, was burned. If you want me to interject this letter.
Yeah, real quickly, we're down to the last minute here.
Oh, you can't do it.
No, it's a little bit longer than that. But he wrote to his children in 1863, right after the fire. And they were in school in Ohio, and he was very thankful that they were not there and for them not to worry because God would take care of the outcome and not to worry. But it was a very important time. And from there, he did other things, ended up in Lebanon, because his daughter lived there, and he moved in with his daughter. When he passed away, he was buried in the cemetery. The tallest monument in the cemetery was paid by the state of Missouri in his honor.
How about that? All right. So you wonder why the McClurg name is so big in this area. And that's why. That is so cool that we get that history. Okay, so we're doing a series of shows on local history with the ladies from the Camden County Museum. Daphne Jeffries, the president of the museum, and Noreen Albers, who leads the board of directors. Thank you, ladies. Appreciate it. We'll have more shows for you on local history, so be looking for those. And thank you so much for joining us for Lake TV's Community Spotlight Show.